Hey y'all, my name is Shannon Ray. I am a certified transition coach and a faith-based content creator. Oh my goodness, it's been a while. Well, it's been a while, it feels like to me, since I've sat down and done one of these, but I think it's only been like maybe 3 weeks? Who's counting? I have been taking a little time to myself because, well, I think it's pretty simple. If you want to pour out, you have to first fill up. And I felt like my tank was getting a little bit low. You know, the gas light was on, so I needed to do some things to pour back into myself, which meant time with family, time with friends, time having some experiences, and time spent talking with God. And let me tell you something, I got an earful. For those of you who may be new here, I just want to offer you my sincerest salutations. We come together each week to discuss life, love, and the pursuit of purpose. If you are interested in this kind of content, I highly suggest you hit that like and subscribe button. For those of you who have been with me for a while, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for staying with me on my journey. Thank you for those who reach out. Thank you for emails, phone calls, messages on social media. It really does mean a lot. I love the opportunity to engage with all of you. Am I a little boobalicious today, or am I just maybe I'm gonna sit upright, okay? Because sometimes these girls have a mind of their own. I'll just say that. I feel like there are these stages in transition that we don't really talk about enough. There's that initial excitement because you're doing something good for yourself, something positive. Maybe you just started a new educational program, maybe you just started a brand new job. So you are excited, you have all these goals, these targets for yourself, these things that you want to hit, the people that you want to meet, networks you want to build, things you want to accomplish, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. It's all great. It's all good. It's super motivating and energizing. And then you start to get to the work. You're going through that process and you're starting to learn what this really means. It's just a different culture that you're learning. There's a different language that you're picking up. And being perpetually new, as I have been for much of my life, has been exhausting. I am someone who has kind of skittered along jobs. Every maybe 2-3 years, I'm off to my next adventure. I don't have anything against the way that I've moved in my career. It has made me a very successful person. It has allowed me to engage with and experience different types of work and communities that I never would have had access to. All of it has left me with that feeling of being a fish out of water, of having to be really anchored in my understanding of myself, really anchored in what I was looking to achieve and accomplish, what I can bring, what I can deliver. But I have to say, there comes a point where being new gets really exhausting. It gets tiring. And so I was in a place in my life where before making the decision to move to a new city, I was understanding that I'd been living in the same place for many, many years. I've had different experiences there, but the things that have been steady outside of myself have been my friends and my access to them, my closeness and proximity to my family, and knowing that whenever things got a little bit shaky or got a little bit heavy or stressful, I could always go to those familiar places to recenter myself, to reground myself. Coming out here removes that. Coming out here puts me in a position where when I'm having trouble finding it within myself, there's not a quick fix as there has been in the past. And even though I do have a very close, like one of my best friends in the world lives here, I understand that she's having a similar experience. We're older now, so there are layers and complexity around when you can go to someone to reach out for them. There are also complexities within your own self of not really understanding what you need, but knowing that you're seeking something out, you're reaching for something. In a sense, I feel like I've dealt with a little bout of being homesick. And not in the sense of wanting to be around my friends and family more. That's ever present. I always want to be up under my people. I love my people. That's why they're my people. More so of homesick for a place I haven't created yet. Talk with me. I've said many times on this channel how I am building a life that I really love and really enjoy. And part of that is getting honest and truthful about the desires of my heart, getting real about the consequences of choices, the outcomes that I can't control, and all of those different things that go into making sure that not only are you creating a life that you love and enjoy, that you'll be proud of, but one that won't lead you to any place of regret. I listen to a lot of different types of music, a lot of different genres, and I am a fan of Gwen Stefani, okay? I also like No Doubt, but Gwen just kind of does it for me. I was listening to an older No Doubt album, and there's a song on there called Simple Kind of Life. And it's just amazing how you can hear something hundreds of times, but depending on where you are in your life, it hits differently. So I was listening to her singing out A Simple Kind of Life, and she talks about how there's a very specific line, and I'm gonna read it to you because I can't sing, but I do it with enthusiasm. She says, "I always thought I'd be a mom. Sometimes I wish for a mistake. The longer that I wait, the more selfish that I get." That is a moment. I think that I kind of revealed this a couple of videos ago. I'm in the process while building this life, while stepping into this next season of my future, where I'm having to think about long-term life planning as a solo person. And part of that includes my plans or non-plans for motherhood. So I'm going through some processes that we as women have to go through to determine if I'm going to freeze eggs, am I going to look into adoption, am I going to choose to take up this space and time that I would have given to a family of my own and use it to serve ministry. So there are different things that I'm considering right now, and I feel like the older that I get, the more it makes sense to use my gifts and talents in other places, as opposed to set up or force a scenario for parenthood. And that is not against anyone who makes different choices. That is not against anyone who is doing things differently than they expected. I'm just walking out a path where I'm trying to figure out which avenue makes the most sense for me. I've been trying to figure this out while in this brand new place and space, this new apartment, this new territory, so to speak. What was adding to my exhaustion was my first attempt to go out and make new friends, to go out and have these new experiences. And while fun and entertaining, they were only leading me to feel more tired. Instead, what I should have done, which I ended up doing, was taking the time to remember the why. Why did you even make the change to go into this new transition in life the first time? Sometimes we're pushed into it. Sometimes life circumstances just happen and they lead us to a place where we have to make hard decisions and we have to start over or start new or go in a direction that we didn't expect. There are other times where God has given us a very specific charge to move forward with, and we don't know what the layout is going to be. We don't know what's going to happen on the other side, but we are moving in faith off of the word of God that this is the right decision to make. There are going to be things that come up that feel like disruptions or distractions that make inconvenience feel more regular than they did in your old life, but that is to be expected. I was listening to a sermon, and you know what? Just like that song from Gwen Stefani and No Doubt hit different in this particular space, so did this particular Bible story. I was listening to a sermon, I believe it was Christine Kane, and she was talking about the women of the Bible. But one person that I had never taken the time to think twice about was Lot's wife.
There's 170 women that are either mentioned by name or alluded to in scripture. But there is only one woman that Jesus ever tells us to remember. In the midst of a discourse about the end times, Jesus said, remember Lot's wife. The only thing we know about Lot's wife in Genesis 19:26, but Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. The angel of the Lord said, don't look back at what's burning down. Don't look back at what I am finished with. Don't look back at the thing I am delivering you from. Don't look back at that thing. Look forward to the future.
Now, we all remember the story of Lot. It's a mess. It's a mess. They were living in Sodom and Gomorrah. That city was literally destroyed by God because of the depravity and the foolishness, the things that they had going on there that spoke directly against the will of God. That his family was being gifted the opportunity to flee from the past. They were given one directive: don't look back. She was going towards something that she had no idea about. She was going towards something that had no roadmap, had no instructions other than to just flee. She was walking in blindly. Her desire for her comfort trumped her faith and her ability to trust what was to come. And because she looked back, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Her decision, her desire to go back towards comfort kept her from life, quite literally, kept her from her future, quite literally. In those moments that we have the desire to look back, go back to what's familiar, I think that's a very, very human thing. But if I'm honest with myself, I was homesick there too. What I'm looking for, I haven't experienced yet. What I'm missing hasn't come yet. And I need to not look towards outside things to fill it. I need to continue to lean into my relationship with God. He's got this too. That desire that I haven't had fully met yet propels me to do things that he wants me to do for the kingdom. And I have to remember that there's a purpose in that too. There is beauty in that too. Yes, I want it now. I wanted it yesterday. But what God is doing is bringing me to where he wants me to be, which is bigger. I made the decision to partner with God for his perfect will. Asked God specifically for his word. I prayed and then I moved. And I have to remember that as I'm sitting here in the discomfort, as I'm sitting here kind of missing the things from the past, it does not mean that I need to take my eye off of what's happening in the future. I want to love the promise of God more than the comfort of my past. I want to love and trust in my future more than I want to run back to the very thing he has been working to get me away from. And it doesn't mean that what the past was bad. It doesn't mean that where I was so stifling or so limited. What it means is that what is for me isn't always going to be simple. A simple kind of life sounds good in theory, but when you are called to more, when you are expected to do more, when there is something over your life as big as what I know is on my life, when I know that there is purpose and there is plan, that means that I can also trust that even here there is provision. I wanted to make this video because I wanted you to hear this message loud and clear. It doesn't always feel good. Right now, it doesn't feel good. That shift is strong and you're watching everything around you change and go, but you have to remain anchored and steadfast in what he said, not what you see, and especially not what you feel. We can't always trust that, but we can always trust God. So in those moments where you are feeling human, where you are longing for what you know because it's easier than what you see, I totally get it. I totally feel you. But we have to keep moving forward with the word that God has sent for us. I'm excited to see you on the other side. I am here for you and I love you. Bye.